No modern builder would create a large building and add onto his or her shoulders the additional burden of aligning it to true north within a fraction of a single degree.
I think it was a civilization that emerged from shamanism, but did not stay at the hunter-gatherer stage. A lot of archaeologists have said to me, but we don't find any plastic bottles from the Ice Age. That means there was no advanced civilization during the Ice Age. Well, hang on. Maybe an advanced civilization might have decided never to get involved in plastic in the first place.
In the intriguing world of ancient mysteries, Graham Hancock's global pyramid connection theory stands out with its bold and controversial propositions. He suggests an intriguing link between the pyramids and megalithic structures scattered across the globe, from the imposing pyramids of Egypt to the intricate stoneworks of the Mayans and Aztecs in Central and South America, and even extending to the lesser-known pyramids in China's Shaanxi province and the enigmatic Gunung Padang in Indonesia. Hancock sees a common thread. He theorizes that either a singular advanced civilization was behind these architectural marvels, or that there was a widespread sharing of knowledge that influenced their construction. The cultural significance of these structures is as varied as their geographical locations. Each civilization, with its unique beliefs and traditions, revered these structures for different reasons. Yet the ubiquity of pyramids as a form of monumental architecture is a fascinating aspect that Hancock highlights. The construction timelines of these structures are equally diverse, spanning from the early dynastic period of Egypt around 2700 BCE to the classical period of the Mesoamerican civilizations, which lasted until around 900 CE.
They cultivated powers of the human mind that we dismiss and regard as completely unimportant.
Hancock is particularly interested in the engineering techniques used in these structures. The precision in construction is nothing short of remarkable. The Great Pyramid, for instance, is a testament to this precision, with its perfectly aligned stones and joints, often put together without any mortar. This level of accuracy in the stonework, especially considering the era in which these structures were built, is a feat that continues to baffle many. Furthermore, the massive stone blocks used in these constructions, some weighing several tons, indicate a level of architectural knowledge and capability that seems far ahead of its time. What is truly intriguing is the architectural complexity of these structures. Constructed in an era without the technological advancements of the modern world, these pyramids and megaliths raise questions about the level of knowledge and capabilities of ancient builders. Were they simply extraordinarily skilled? Or was there an external influence, perhaps from a now-lost advanced civilization? Now, delving into the idea of an advanced ancient civilization, a concept that veers sharply from the path trodden by mainstream academics. His theory paints a picture of a civilization existing more than 10,000 years ago that was leaps and bounds ahead of its time in fields like astronomy, engineering, and mathematics. This civilization, as Hancock proposes, predates the earliest known societies like Sumer and ancient Egypt, which conventional history places at around 6,000 years ago. At the heart of the theory is the awe-inspiring astronomical precision of ancient structures. Take, for instance, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's not just a monumental tomb, it's a testament to astronomical alignment, with its sides precisely mirroring the cardinal points. Then there's the Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, known as El Castillo, where during the equinoxes, an interplay of light and shadow conjures the image of a serpent descending its steps, a marvel of ancient engineering and understanding of celestial events. Perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of the theory is the Orion correlation theory, which he developed alongside Robert Bauval. They propose that the layout of the three pyramids of Giza correlates with the three stars of Orion's belt. This isn't just a coincidental alignment. According to Hancock, it's a deliberate mirror of the heavens, indicative of an advanced astronomical understanding.
The signs of civilization that we see emerging are not the beginnings of civilization, they're a restarting.
But where did this knowledge come from? Some point to megalithic sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dating back to around 10,000 BC. These sites are not just ancient, they are complex and aligned with celestial bodies, suggesting an understanding of astronomy and mathematics far beyond what we would expect from that era. He doesn't stop there. He even brings ancient maps into the equation, like the Piri Reis map, which he believes displays a geographical understanding that seems too advanced for its time. Of course, every great civilization has its downfall, and his theory is no exception. He speculates about cataclysmic events, possibly a comet impact around 10,500 BC, leading to the civilization's demise. This catastrophe, he believes, scattered the survivors across the globe, who then imparted their advanced knowledge to the emerging civilizations they encountered. Now, what if we combine two different thoughts here? What if the ancient civilization many mention that came from the stars were the ancient Anunnaki? Zecharia Sitchin's theories about the Anunnaki and their connection to Earth have stirred up quite a conversation in both scientific and alternative history circles. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki weren't just deities of ancient Mesopotamian lore, but extraterrestrials from a distant planet named Nibiru. This planet, he claims, orbits our sun every 3,600 years, coming close enough to Earth to have influenced our history in profound ways. It's a story that seems straight out of a science fiction novel, but Sitchin grounded his ideas in his translations of ancient Sumerian and Mesopotamian cuneiform texts, which he interpreted as historical records rather than mythological tales. Sitchin's narrative delves into the reasons behind the Anunnaki's visits to Earth. He proposed that these extraterrestrial beings were in search of resources, particularly gold, which they needed to repair their home planet's atmosphere. But their influence on Earth, according to Sitchin, went far beyond a mere interstellar gold rush. He believed that the Anunnaki utilized their advanced technology and knowledge to help build many of the ancient world's incredible structures, like the Egyptian pyramids and the ziggurats of Mesopotamia. Perhaps one of the most controversial aspects of his theory is the idea that the Anunnaki engaged in genetic engineering. Sitchin speculated that the first humans were a product of the Anunnaki, combining their DNA with that of early hominids on Earth. This, he argued, significantly accelerated human development and influenced the trajectory of our civilizations. The reach and implications of Sitchin's theories are vast. He suggested that the Anunnaki didn't just leave behind architectural wonders, but also imparted knowledge and skills that spurred the growth of ancient societies. It's a theory that paints the story of human civilization in a completely different light, suggesting that our advancements might have had a little extraterrestrial push.
And suddenly we see these signs of civilization appearing, and in places like Göbekli Tepe, those signs already include highly sophisticated knowledge.
The theory that interlinks the Anunnaki, a group of ancient deities from Mesopotamian mythology, with the construction of Earth's megalithic structures, is a narrative rich in speculation and wonder. Advocates of this theory believe the Anunnaki were not mere mythological figures, but advanced extraterrestrial beings. Their alleged arrival on Earth and involvement in monumental constructions have fascinated many who seek explanations beyond conventional history. Proponents suggest that the Anunnaki possessed far superior technological and engineering capabilities compared to the humans of their time. This advanced knowledge, they argue, was instrumental in the construction of various awe-inspiring ancient structures, such as the pyramids of Egypt, the mysterious Stonehenge, the colossal Moai statues of Easter Island, and the towering pyramids of Mesoamerica. The intricate designs, the massive stones used, and the precision of these constructions are often cited as beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations without external assistance. One striking feature of these ancient structures is their astronomical alignment. For instance, Stonehenge's layout closely aligns with the movements of the sun during solstices and equinoxes. Similarly, many ancient structures across the globe share architectural features despite their geographical distances, hinting, as some believe, at a common source of knowledge or influence. The theory also delves into the timing of the Anunnaki's arrival on Earth. It is often suggested that their arrival coincided with or followed significant cataclysmic events, like great floods or environmental disasters. This timing is seen as strategic, either for the purpose of assisting in Earth's restoration or exploiting its resources in a period of human vulnerability. This aspect of the theory finds resonance in various ancient mythologies, which are replete with tales of gods or celestial beings descending to Earth in times of great need. Some theorists go as far as to interpret these mythological accounts not as allegorical or symbolic stories, but as historical records of actual events, including the arrival and actions of the Anunnaki. In particular, flood myths prevalent in various cultures, such as the biblical story of Noah and the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, are sometimes pointed to as supporting evidence for a global cataclysm that coincided with the Anunnaki's arrival. These narratives, they argue, are not just mythical tales, but potentially documentations of real events that were witnessed and recorded by ancient civilizations. While this theory garners interest and has a certain appeal to those fascinated by ancient mysteries and the possibility of extraterrestrial influence, it remains outside the realm of mainstream historical and archaeological discourse. The lack of empirical evidence and the speculative nature of the interpretations involved place this theory in the category of alternative history rather than established fact. Nonetheless, it continues to be a topic of intrigue and discussion among enthusiasts of ancient astronaut theories and alternative historical narratives.
There's huge areas of the world that have never been looked at by archaeology at all, or if looked at by archaeology, looked at only minimally. It's really important to understand that archaeology is often driven by accidental finds.
In the shadowed depths beneath the temple of the ancient city of Taposiris Magna, located along the Egyptian coastline, a monumental discovery was made by Kathleen Martinez of the University of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and her team.
Let's call in the archaeologists to make sure that we're not going to wreck any ancient archaeology while we're doing this. And that's a lot of archaeological discoveries are made as a result of that.
During their meticulous excavations, they unearthed an extensive tunnel plunging 13 meters underground, expertly carved through 1,305 meters of sandstone. This architectural feat, standing 2 meters tall, has been hailed as a geometric miracle by the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities for its engineering precision and scale.
It's interesting that the patterns are geometrical. Someone made it, and it involved a very large amount of organized labor in order to make it. There had to be the will and the intent in order to do that.
The Eupalinos Tunnel, extending over 10 to 36 meters, was an unparalleled achievement in ancient engineering, mirroring the complexity and ambition of the Taposiris Magna tunnel, though the latter's function remains a mystery. Despite being partially submerged in water, the tunnel's purpose, beyond its architectural resemblance to historical works, is still under investigation. The driving force behind Martinez's dedication to Taposiris Magna since 2004 has been the quest to locate the final resting place of Cleopatra VII, the last queen of the Ptolemaic dynasty.
Are we looking at the traces of a forgotten episode in human history? I think so. I think that's what's going on here.
The excavations at Taposiris Magna have not been in vain, revealing artifacts and signs hinting at the presence of Cleopatra and her ancestors. Founded around 280 BCE by Ptolemy II, a direct descendant of one of Alexander the Great's generals, Taposiris Magna is steeped in the legacy of its founders. The temple, believed to be dedicated to Osiris and his consort Isis, also aligns with Cleopatra's efforts to embody Isis, strengthening her divine legitimacy.
This is a very neglected area of the world as far as deep and ancient archaeology goes.
Discoveries within the temple complex have included coins adorned with the likenesses of Cleopatra and Alexander the Great, alongside figurines of Isis, suggesting a vibrant cultic activity centered around these figures. Additionally, Greco-Roman burial shafts unearthed within the site hint at the potential for finding tombs similar to those Cleopatra and her consort Mark Antony might be interred in, raising the possibility of uncovering their final resting places. Looking forward, the exploration is set to extend into the Mediterranean Sea, following the trail of a series of devastating earthquakes between 320 and 1303 CE that led to the partial submersion of the temple complex. Prior excavations have also indicated a network of tunnels connecting Lake Mariotte to the Mediterranean, suggesting a broader scope of investigation in the quest to unravel the mysteries of Taposiris Magna. The tunnel discovery, yielding artifacts such as pottery and a limestone block, adds to the anticipation of what lies ahead. As articulated by Zahi Hawass, the former Minister for Antiquities, the discovery of Cleopatra and Mark Antony's tomb would be a landmark event of the 21st century. Nonetheless, the significance of the findings at Taposiris Magna transcends the search for royal tombs, shedding light on the rich and complex history of this ancient city. The ongoing excavations promise not only the potential revelation of royal tombs, but also a deeper understanding of the cultural and historical landscape of ancient Egypt. Moving on, the mystery of the Osiris shaft, a hidden gem beneath the sands of the Giza Plateau.
But he found evidence of deliberate burial in a very complicated, difficult cave system, which you can hardly access.
Is this shaft connected with ancient Queen Cleopatra? This ancient marvel is a deep dive into Egyptian engineering brilliance and a profound testament to their religious beliefs. Carved straight into the bedrock and plunging about 30 meters, which is nearly 100 feet underground. It's a 3-level journey into the past, where architecture meets the afterlife. Right at the doorstep of the Pyramid of Khafre, the entrance to this subterranean complex is anything but ordinary. It's like stepping into a different realm, starting with a modest antechamber that serves as your welcome or warning of the mysteries that lie ahead. This first stop is simple yet precise, a showcase of the ancient Egyptians' mastery over stone, but the adventure only deepens from there. A narrow passage takes you to the second level, a larger space carved with burial niches. Imagine this as a VIP section for the afterlife, likely reserved for those with a direct line to the gods or high standing in society. It's a clear sign that you're moving closer to something sacred. Then comes the final plunge to the heart of the Osiris shaft. Here, in the deepest chamber, you're greeted by a scene straight out of mythology. At the center, a massive granite sarcophagus sits partially submerged in water, which seeps in naturally from the limestone. This isn't just an engineering feat, it's a direct nod to Osiris, the god of the afterlife, whose story is intertwined with the Nile itself. The water here isn't just a natural occurrence, it's a symbol of life, death, and rebirth, mirroring the Nile's life-giving floods and Osiris's own resurrection story. The genius of the Osiris shaft isn't just in its construction, though carving such a complex directly into the bedrock, managing groundwater, and ensuring stability is nothing short of astounding. It's also in how it weaves together functionality and deep religious symbolism. This place wasn't just meant for burying the dead, it was a canvas on which the ancient Egyptians painted their beliefs in the afterlife, a physical journey through the underworld that mirrored the soul's passage to eternity. In the end, the Osiris shaft stands as a profound expression of ancient Egyptian architectural and religious thought, a place where the physical and the spiritual meet, carved deep into the earth. The Osiris shaft presents a fascinating narrative of ancient Egyptian beliefs, ingeniously encapsulated in a subterranean complex. This enigmatic site, stretching deep beneath the sands, offers a rare window into the Egyptians' sophisticated burial practices and their reverence for Osiris, the deity of the afterlife and rebirth. The discovery of varied sarcophagi within its depths speaks volumes about the social tapestry and the evolving customs over millennia from the Old Kingdom through to the Ptolemaic period. It's intriguing to see how granite and basalt sarcophagi, earmarked for the elite, coexist with simpler wooden ones, suggesting a resting place for a wide spectrum of society. The assortment of burial goods unearthed here, from pottery intended for afterlife sustenance to ushabti figures meant to serve the deceased beyond death, underscores a firm belief in an existence after life. These artifacts weren't just symbolic, they were envisioned to spring to life in the afterlife, attending to the deceased. The presence of jewelry, amulets, and various ritual objects further accentuates the shaft's spiritual significance, painting a vivid picture of the personal beliefs and the societal stature of those entombed within its chambers. Less common than in grandiose tombs but equally telling are the inscriptions found within the Osiris shaft. These hieroglyphic texts, drawn from the Book of the Dead, offer prayers and spells to aid the deceased's passage through the underworld, revealing the religious literature that permeated burial rites at the time. The shaft's design and function serve as a profound testament to the myth of Osiris, creating a physical manifestation of the underworld and mirroring the god's mythical entombment in the Nile's waters. This architectural homage to Osiris not only marked the site as a burial ground, but also as a sacred space for pilgrimage and worship, drawing followers to engage in rituals and offerings. The use of water in the deepest chamber, symbolizing purification and rebirth, reflects the Nile's life-giving floods controlled by Osiris, reinforcing the deity's association with agriculture and resurrection. Some theories even suggest that the Osiris shaft's alignment might connect the deceased with celestial bodies, embedding them within the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. a concept that highlights the Egyptians' advanced understanding of cosmology. Exploring the Osiris shaft thus unfolds a rich tapestry of ancient Egyptian life, belief, and architectural prowess. It's a narrative that transcends the mere act of burial, revealing a culture deeply immersed in the mysteries of the afterlife, the divine, and the cosmos. The Osiris shaft stands not just as a monument, but as a bridge between the earthly and the divine, offering invaluable insights into the spiritual and everyday lives of the ancient Egyptians.
Elon Musk has received a lot of criticism in the past for not having given Nikola Tesla enough credit for Tesla's enormous success with his car company.
But I do wonder today, like, if Nikola Tesla applied to Tesla, would we even give him an interview?
Nikola Tesla, the visionary electrical engineer who lit up the world with his ideas, poured a significant portion of his life into unraveling the mysteries of wireless energy transmission. His dream? To weave an invisible web of energy that could span the globe, allowing electrical power to flow as freely as the air we breathe without the need for wires. Among his most ambitious undertakings was the Wardenclyffe Tower project, which wasn't just any ordinary broadcasting system. Tesla envisioned it as a beacon of progress that would send messages, telephone signals, and even facsimile images straight across the Atlantic to England and to ships lost in the vast ocean, all without laying a single wire. But there's more to it. The tower was designed to tap into the Earth's ionosphere itself, creating a pathway for the wireless transmission of electrical energy across vast distances. Meanwhile, thousands of years before Tesla, the Great Pyramid of Giza stood tall against the sky, a testament to the ancient world's ingenuity.
Great Pyramid stands about 450 feet tall, but its original height was 481 feet tall.
While it's widely recognized as a monumental tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, some have speculated that this structure was much more than a mere resting place for the deceased. A captivating theory suggests that the Great Pyramid might have served as a colossal power plant, capturing the Earth's vibrational energies. Imagine the pyramid with its limestone and granite layers interwoven with quartz crystals, humming with the Earth's vibrations, and possibly converting this energy into electricity, acting as a gargantuan resonator. The parallel between Tesla's futuristic visions of wireless energy and the supposed function of the Great Pyramid is nothing short of fascinating. Both stand as milestones in humanity's quest to harness and distribute energy in novel ways. Tesla's work represented a leap toward the future, while the pyramid, according to some theorists, hints at an ancient wisdom lost to time. Tesla's journey into the world of resonant frequencies led him to invent the Tesla coil, capable of generating high-voltage, low-current, high-frequency, alternating current electricity. He believed that the Earth could serve as a conductor, resonating at a specific frequency that could be used to wirelessly transmit energy. The Great Pyramid's design, its dimensions, orientation, and the materials used in its construction suggests it was built to tap into the Earth's resonant frequencies, much like Tesla aimed to do with his experiments. This alignment suggests a profound understanding of natural energies that transcends time, from the ancient Egyptians to Tesla's modern scientific explorations. Tesla envisioned a world interconnected by an invisible web of energies, enabling the direct global transmission of power into homes, industries, and vehicles without reliance on physical connections. This revolutionary concept remains a beacon of innovation today. The ancient Egyptians' mastery of geometry, astronomy, and possibly energy reflects a convergence of science, architecture, and technology that mirrors Tesla's interdisciplinary approach to energy and science. One theory posits that both Tesla's groundbreaking work and the architectural marvels of the pyramids are manifestations of humanity's enduring quest to master the unseen forces of nature for the betterment of civilization. The idea that the Great Pyramid could function as a resonator, amplifying and transmitting energy in a manner akin to Tesla's envisioned global wireless system, underscores a remarkable parallel between two vastly different eras, united in their quest to harness the natural world for energy transmission. Nikola Tesla's captivation with the geometry of nature and human-made structures, particularly the pyramids, wasn't just a fleeting interest. He saw in these shapes the keys to the universe's energies, believing that they held profound secrets about the world around us. His fascination is evident in how geometric principles were woven into the fabric of his experiments and inventions, especially those focusing on electromagnetic fields and energy transmission. Tesla's pursuit of geometric perfection wasn't just for aesthetic pleasure. He believed it was essential to enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of his creations. Meanwhile, the Great Pyramid of Giza, a marvel of ancient engineering, stands as a testament to a sophisticated understanding of geometry and astronomy. Its precise alignment with the cardinal points and its slope, echoing the golden ratio, suggests that its builders possessed a deep knowledge of the world that rivals modern understanding. This pyramid, according to some theories, might have been more than just a grand tomb. It could have been an advanced machine designed to harness the Earth's energies. Such a notion aligns seamlessly with Tesla's lifelong mission to tap into and utilize the planet's natural forces. Tesla's deep respect for the numbers 3, 6, and 9, which he considered profoundly significant to the universe's structure, finds an intriguing parallel in the dimensions of the Great Pyramid. These numbers appear repeatedly, not just as measurements, but in the relationships and proportions that define the pyramid's architecture. It's as if both Tesla and the ancient Egyptians were tuned into a universal harmony, expressed through these sacred numbers. The comparison between Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower and the Great Pyramid is particularly striking. Despite the vast differences in time and culture that separate their creators, both structures are thought to have been conceived with a similar purpose in mind: to harness and manipulate the Earth's natural energies for the betterment of humanity. Tesla's vision for the Wardenclyffe Tower as a means to distribute wireless energy globally mirrors the speculated function of the Great Pyramid as a giant resonator or capacitor, capable of accumulating and directing the Earth's electromagnetic forces. Tesla's experiments and designs, particularly those related to wireless energy transmission, can be seen as a modern application of principles that might have been understood, in another form, by the builders of the Great Pyramid. The idea that both Tesla and the ancient Egyptians aimed to design structures that could interact with natural forces on a grand scale suggests a shared understanding of the world's inherent energies. Moreover, the mathematical precision found in the Great Pyramid, with its use of the golden ratio and the incorporation of pi and phi in its dimensions, reflects a cosmological blueprint that seems to resonate with Tesla's own work. Many of Tesla's notes and experimental findings echo this mathematical harmony, suggesting a belief in the power of geometric ratios and alignments to access and manipulate natural energies. As we delve into the connections between Tesla's work and the Great Pyramid, it becomes clear that both represent a profound quest to understand and harness the energies of the natural world. Through their legacy, we are reminded of the timeless pursuit of knowledge and the power of geometric harmony in unlocking the secrets of the universe. Diving deep into the heart of the Great Pyramid of Giza, researchers and visitors alike have been captivated by its internal chambers' remarkable acoustic properties. Sounds within these ancient stone walls are not merely heard, they are felt, resonating deeply as if the pyramid itself is singing. This acoustic marvel suggests that the ancient Egyptians might have possessed an advanced understanding of acoustics, rivaling even that of modern concert hall designers. The way chants and music come alive within these chambers hints at a deliberate design for acoustical resonance, a feature that seems too sophisticated to be mere coincidence. Parallel to the acoustic wonders of the Great Pyramid, Nikola Tesla, a name synonymous with groundbreaking advancements in electricity and electromagnetism, ventured into the realm of acoustics. Tesla explored how sound frequencies could affect physical objects, uncovering that certain frequencies could induce resonance. This wasn't just a minor curiosity for Tesla. He saw practical applications, envisioning ways to use resonance in energy transmission and perhaps even unlock secrets of ancient technologies. His speculative work on the so-called earthquake machine, which purportedly used resonance to produce small tremors, underscores his belief in the power of vibrational energy. The notion that the Great Pyramid could harness or manipulate sound for purposes beyond simple communication, perhaps for healing, altering consciousness, or even generating energy, finds an intriguing counterpart in Tesla's experiments. The speculation that this ancient wonder served as more than a monumental tomb, possibly functioning as a power plant harnessing natural forces, parallels Tesla's ambitious Wardenclyffe Tower project. Both the pyramid and Tesla's tower are thought to have been designed with a deep understanding of natural forces, including both electromagnetic and acoustic energies. aimed at benefiting humanity. There's speculation that Tesla's designs, including the visionary Wardenclyffe Tower, might have been inspired by ancient structures like the Great Pyramid. The idea that the pyramid could concentrate electromagnetic and possibly acoustic energy aligns with Tesla's interest in using architecture and technology to interact with and utilize natural energies. His appreciation for ancient knowledge and the potential to rediscover and apply this wisdom to modern science suggests a profound connection between Tesla's work and the architectural and technological achievements of the ancient world.
He knew a mystery when he saw it and he couldn't explain it. We should be open-minded enough to consider the possibility that some of the answers may sit outside of our current perspective.
What do conventional archaeologists say when they're confronted by all of this data?
Ever wondered what went on inside those magnificent pyramids of ancient Egypt? Well, buckle up because we're about to delve into the fascinating world of the ancient pyramid texts. These inscriptions carved onto the pyramid walls around 2400 to 2300 BCE are like a window into the hearts and minds of the people who built these incredible structures. These texts weren't just random scribbles, they were meticulously crafted during a pivotal period in Egyptian history, the twilight of the Old Kingdom. This era is famous for the iconic pyramids, those towering tombs for pharaohs. The pyramids themselves are a testament to the Egyptians' architectural genius and their deep understanding of math and engineering. But the pyramid texts are more than just historical footnotes. They're the earliest known religious writings from Egypt, offering a glimpse into the beliefs and practices of this ancient civilization. They're like cultural snapshots showing how art, architecture, and religion were all woven together. The pyramids themselves were seen as the ultimate expression of both religious devotion and the pharaoh's supreme power. Speaking of power, the pharaohs of the Old Kingdom weren't just seen as leaders, they were considered living gods. This concept of divine kingship was the glue that held society together, justifying the pharaoh's absolute authority. The pyramid texts are all about this. They're basically spells and instructions meant to help the pharaoh navigate the afterlife and join the gods, further solidifying the idea of their godlike status. Imagine a society where the pharaoh is at the top of the pyramid, wielding immense power. That's exactly what the Old Kingdom was like. This centralized system allowed them to mobilize the massive resources and manpower needed to build the pyramids. It also meant the government had a tight grip on things, controlling people and resources to a great extent. But running a complex society like this wasn't a walk in the park. It required a well-oiled bureaucratic machine, and that's what the Egyptians had. This network of officials kept things running smoothly, organizing labor, managing resources, and handling the countless details of daily life. It was a sophisticated system for a sophisticated society. We've talked about the cultural significance of the pyramid texts and the social structure of the Old Kingdom, but how did they manage to pull off such massive building projects? Building a pyramid wasn't like putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. It required serious resources and manpower. Imagine this: hauling giant blocks of stone, transporting them for miles, and feeding a whole army of workers for years on end. That's what the Egyptians had to do to build the pyramids. It was a massive undertaking, requiring a well-oiled economic engine. Here's where things get interesting. Contrary to popular belief, the pyramids weren't built by slaves, but by a paid workforce. These workers were likely skilled laborers, artisans, and even seasonal workers, and they were treated pretty well. We found evidence of medical care, food, and even some form of compensation. So how could they afford all this? The answer lies in a concept called economic surplus. Basically, they had enough resources left over after taking care of basic needs like food and shelter to invest in these grand projects. This surplus came from their mastery of agriculture thanks to the Nile River's annual floods. These floods enriched the land and allowed them to grow more food than they needed to survive, freeing up people to work on other things like, you guessed it, building pyramids. But the pyramids are more than just piles of stone, they're symbols too. Many believe they represent the rays of the sun, a pathway for the pharaoh's soul to reach the heavens. This symbolism is deeply connected to the pyramid texts, which are filled with references to the sun god Ra. It all goes back to the Egyptians' belief system, where religion, royalty, and the universe were all interconnected. Speaking of connections, the pyramid texts are like the great-grandparents of later Egyptian religious texts. They paved the way for things like the coffin texts and the Book of the Dead. These later texts show how Egyptian beliefs evolved over time, adapting and becoming more accessible to people beyond just the pharaohs. So we've explored the economic engine behind the pyramids and the deeper meaning they hold. But let's not forget the pyramids themselves. They weren't just giant piles of stone. They were meticulously designed and built with a specific purpose in mind. Imagine these pyramids as giant tombs, built to house the bodies and possessions of pharaohs after they passed away. But they weren't just storage units. They were designed to help the pharaoh's soul on its journey to the afterlife, and that's where the pyramid texts come in. These inscriptions were like a guidebook for the pharaoh's soul, offering spells and protection every step of the way. The most famous pyramid containing these texts belongs to Unas, the last ruler of the 5th dynasty. His pyramid, located in Saqqara, was the first to include these inscriptions, paving the way for future pharaohs to follow suit. Think of it like a new trend. Once Unas did it, other pharaohs like Teti, Pepi I, and even Pepi II decided they wanted pyramid texts too. These texts weren't just scribbled on any old piece of papyrus. They were painstakingly carved into the very walls of the pyramids by skilled artisans. Imagine the dedication and precision it took to etch those intricate hieroglyphs into stone. This not only shows the skill of the craftsman, but also highlights the importance of the texts themselves. They were considered so sacred and valuable that they deserved a permanent and prominent place within the pyramids. Speaking of sacredness, these texts were like the holy scripts of their time. They contained spells, prayers, and hymns, all designed to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife and even his transformation into a god. The fact that they were placed inside the pyramids, which were themselves seen as sacred spaces, further emphasizes their importance. But here's the interesting part. Initially, these texts were an exclusive club. Only the pharaohs got to enjoy their benefits, further solidifying their divine status in society. It kind of reflects the hierarchical structure of the time, where access to certain religious practices and texts was restricted to the privileged few. However, things eventually changed. Over time, the concepts and spells found in the pyramid texts started to trickle down to the broader Egyptian population. This led to the development of the coffin texts, and later the famous Book of the Dead. These later texts mark a turning point, making spells and rituals for the afterlife more accessible, not just for the pharaohs but for regular people too. So the pyramid texts, originally exclusive to the pharaohs, became the seed for a more democratic approach to the afterlife in ancient Egypt. Now, imagine unearthing a piece of history that rewrites what we know about writing. That's exactly what happened in the 1920s when the Kish tablet was discovered in the ancient city of Kish, Mesopotamia. This wasn't just any clay tablet. It was a game changer, offering a glimpse into the very origins of writing and the fascinating society that developed it. Kish was no ordinary town. Located along the Euphrates River, it was a bustling hub of trade, politics, and culture, attracting people from far and wide. This melting pot of cultures likely played a key role in the birth of writing, as different people brought their own symbols and ways of record-keeping, eventually leading to the development of proto-cuneiform script. The discovery of the Kish tablet itself is a story of collaboration. Archaeologists from the Field Museum of Natural History, led by Stephen Langdon, joined forces with other experts to uncover the secrets of Kish. Back then, excavation techniques were evolving, becoming more systematic and meticulous, which was crucial for carefully preserving and documenting this historic find. But what's so special about this tablet? Well, the writing system on it is like a Rosetta Stone of the ancient world. It's one of the earliest examples of written communication, showcasing the transition from picture-based symbols to the complex wedge-shaped script known as cuneiform. This shift reflects the growing complexity of Sumerian society, as people needed new ways to keep track of things. The creation and use of the Kish tablet also hint at a well-organized society. Imagine a city-state managing resources, governing its people, and even engaging in trade with other regions. Writing wasn't just about leaving messages, it was essential for recording transactions, laws, and important decisions. But the impact of writing goes beyond practicalities. It opened doors for cultural expression and the preservation of knowledge. With writing, the Sumerians could record their myths, laws, and historical events, ensuring they weren't lost to time. This paved the way for the rich literary traditions that flourished in the ancient Near East. The Kish tablet is a reminder that writing wasn't just a random invention. It was a necessity for keeping complex societies running smoothly. It also opened doors for cultural exchange and the preservation of knowledge across generations. This discovery continues to spark debates among scholars, with some questioning whether writing originated independently in Mesopotamia or was influenced by other cultures. The mystery surrounding the exact function and content of the tablet adds to its allure, making it a captivating piece of history that continues to captivate archaeologists and historians alike.
But he found evidence of deliberate burial in a very complicated, difficult cave system, which you can hardly access. The archaeological establishment descended on him like a ton of bricks and tried to find all kinds of reasons why it couldn't possibly be.
Did you know about the mysterious Osiris shaft hidden away on the Giza Plateau? This intriguing archaeological site, tucked away from the more famous Great Pyramids and the Sphinx, has a story that's slowly been coming to light over the years. While the big monuments grabbed all the early attention, the Osiris shaft waited quietly for its turn in the spotlight.
Would it be fair to say that there's an element of a rediscovery of a lost technology from the past?
I think it would be fair to say that, yes.
It wasn't just another hole in the ground. This shaft held secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization and their religious practices that were only beginning to be uncovered. It's fascinating to think that this place was just sitting there, known since the late 19th century but not getting much love from explorers. They were all dazzled by the pyramids and Sphinx.
I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology.
But as it turns out, the Osiris shaft had its own tale to tell, one that required a bit of patience to fully appreciate. Enter the 1990s and things started to change. That's when Zahi Hawass, a name many of you might recognize, took the reins and decided it was time to give the Osiris shaft the attention it deserved. Under his guidance, a thorough exploration began, peeling back the layers of its complex architecture. What they found was a marvel, a glimpse into the depth of Egyptian religious thought and engineering prowess. But getting to the heart of the Osiris shaft wasn't a walk in the park. The team faced the massive challenge of pumping out water that had filled its lower levels, especially the third level that was partially underwater.
But what happened a few years ago, that the water began to rise in front of the Sphinx temple outside. Then I was really afraid that this water can damage the Sphinx.
Imagine the effort it took to bring in modern pumping equipment and clear out all that water just to access the deepest secrets of the shaft. Its 3 levels diving deep into the earth turned out to be a fascinating puzzle of architecture, burial customs, and hidden treasures. The first thing that caught their eyes was the shaft's design itself. It's a marvel of ancient engineering, with each level serving its own mysterious purpose. Down at the very bottom, a large stone sarcophagus sits in a chamber that's partly underwater, painting a vivid picture of the ancient Egyptian underworld right there beneath our feet. It's as if they built their own version of the afterlife hidden deep in the Giza Plateau. But then there's the second level with its 6 empty burial shafts. Imagine the archaeologists' surprise finding them all vacant. It sparked so many questions. Were they plundered, or were they never meant to hold anything in the first place? This level offers a glimpse into the burial practices and rituals of the time, even if it leaves us guessing about some of the details. Despite the lack of inscriptions, a kind of ancient billboard that could have told us exactly who made this and when, the bits and pieces found throughout the shaft speak volumes. Pottery shards, fragments of stone vessels, and other small artifacts serve as breadcrumbs leading us back in time, suggesting that the Osiris shaft might hail from the New Kingdom period. It's like detective work, where every clue helps build a case for when this incredible structure came into being. But perhaps the most touching finds were the mummified remains tucked away in the smaller chambers around that central sarcophagus. It's one thing to study the grand monuments and temples, but it's another to come face to face with the people themselves. Analyzing these remains gives us a rare peek into the lives of those who once walked the streets of ancient Egypt, what they ate, how they lived, and maybe even how they died. Let's talk about Osiris for a moment. He's not your average deity, he's the ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife, death, and rebirth. The story goes that Osiris was betrayed by his brother Set, leading to a saga of death, dismemberment, and a resurrection that sounds like it came straight out of a blockbuster movie. His wife Isis put him back together and brought him back to life. Osiris's story is a cornerstone of Egyptian mythology, embodying the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And guess what? The Osiris shaft is like a three-dimensional tribute to this epic tale. Down in the depths of the shaft, there's this chamber filled with water that's believed to represent the underworld. Imagine standing there in front of a large stone sarcophagus that's meant to symbolize Osiris's tomb. It's not just a tomb, it's a symbol of his journey through death and his role as the ruler of the afterlife. But why build such a place? Well, one theory is that the Osiris shaft was a venue for initiation rites. Think of it as a spiritual boot camp where participants would undergo trials, symbolizing death and rebirth, much like Osiris did. These rites weren't just for show. They were believed to impart secret knowledge and bring about a spiritual transformation in the initiates. Some even speculate that the shaft's design was guided by the stars, aligning with celestial bodies that the ancient Egyptians associated with Osiris and the afterlife. It's as if the shaft was a bridge between Earth and the heavens, a physical representation of the soul's journey after death. What's truly fascinating is how the physical structure of the Osiris shaft and the artifacts found within Echo, the ancient texts like the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. These texts offer a glimpse into the Egyptian view of the afterlife, complete with references to water, boats, and, yes, the significance of sarcophagi. It's like the shaft is a stone-bound version of these ancient scrolls, a tangible connection to the beliefs and rituals of a civilization long gone. Buried deep within the limestone bedrock, the Osiris shaft, it's a three-level maze that masterfully blends practicality with a touch of the mystical. Let's dive into what makes the architecture and structure of the Osiris shaft so fascinating. First off, the way this shaft was designed and built is nothing short of amazing. It shows just how advanced the ancient Egyptians were in their planning and building techniques. The precision with which they carved out these chambers from the bedrock really makes you wonder about their deep understanding of the earth beneath them. At the entrance, you're greeted by a rectangular opening that starts your descent into the depths. This isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a carefully carved vertical shaft dropping down about 10 meters. Imagine the effort it took to remove all that limestone, using tools made from harder stones and metals, and even ropes and wooden scaffolding. It's a testament to their engineering skills. The first chamber you hit is pretty modest. No flashy decorations or treasures, but its simplicity might have been the point. It's like a waiting room or a space for getting ready for something more profound down below, maybe even for some kind of purification rites. But the real intrigue starts when you go deeper to the second level. Here, there's another shaft leading down another 20 meters, and this chamber is a bit more complex. These shafts could have been meant for actual burials, or perhaps as a representation of the journey to the afterlife. The third level is where things get even more dramatic. You go down another shaft, and this time you're 30 meters below the surface. Here lies a large stone sarcophagus, right in the center of the chamber. This isn't just a burial place, it's a symbolic representation of Osiris's tomb. The fact that this chamber is partially filled with water from the natural aquifer adds to the mystique, tying it to themes of rebirth and purification in Egyptian mythology. Graham Hancock is a name that often sparks lively discussions whenever ancient civilizations are mentioned.
There are huge corporations that have very large investments in a particular path of technology. Sure. For somebody to come up with a whole new path of technology, it's very threatening to them.
Known for his captivating books like Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods, Hancock is no stranger to controversy, especially with his theories that challenge the mainstream archaeological narrative. Today, let's dive into how Hancock's unconventional ideas might shed new light on the mysterious Osiris shaft.
They fell there, something like that.
All of them?
Yeah, all
Over
of them.
many years?
And somehow buried themselves under the topsoil.
At the core of Hancock's theories is the tantalizing notion of a lost advanced civilization. This isn't just any civilization, but one that supposedly predates all known history, equipped with knowledge in astronomy, architecture, and mathematics that far exceeds what we'd expect from our ancient ancestors. Hancock might say the Osiris shaft, with its intricate design and possible astronomical alignments, serves as a kind of time capsule from this sophisticated society. Could it be that this ancient marvel is much older than we think, or that it was built with wisdom handed down from this enigmatic civilization? Hancock's fascination doesn't stop at architecture. He's also keenly interested in how these ancient structures align with the stars. While he hasn't specifically pinpointed the Osiris shaft in his star maps, it's easy to imagine it fitting neatly into his grand scheme of things. Could the shaft's orientation hint at a connection to celestial events or constellations tied to Osiris and the themes of death and rebirth? Hancock's work suggests that many of Egypt's ancient monuments are part of a larger cosmic blueprint, and the Osiris shaft might just be another piece of that puzzle. One of the more dramatic elements of Hancock's theories involves global cataclysms, particularly those caused by comet impacts around 12,800 to 11,600 years ago, during what's known as the Younger Dryas. He proposes that these catastrophic events could have wiped out the advanced civilization he theorizes about. So, when we look at the water filling the lower levels of the Osiris shaft, Hancock might see it as more than just groundwater seepage. He could interpret it as a deliberate nod to the ancient deluges, a symbol of the world-altering floods that his hypothesized civilization endured. Do you think there have been multiple ancient cataclysms?
Santa and I spent 7 years of our lives scuba diving all around the world. You're coming across statues underwater, you're coming across columns underwater. It's just magical, diving on an underwater city.
For centuries, the lost city of Heracleon, or Thonis as it was known to the ancient Egyptians, was thought to be nothing more than a legend, hidden beneath the waves near the mouth of the Nile River, off the modern-day coast of Alexandria, Egypt. It was a city whispered about in a few rare inscriptions and ancient texts, until its discovery in the early 2000s.
You have to be careful when you look at underwater structures. You have to look at all the conditions that have led to their submergence.
Underwater archaeologist Frank Goddio and his team unveiled this submerged city, transforming it from myth to reality in a groundbreaking moment for archaeology. Heracleon was not just any city. It was a vital gateway to Egypt, a primary port for Greek trade before Alexandria took prominence. This bustling hub was alive with commerce, culture, and religion, serving as a significant center for the worship of the god Amun-Gareb.
The submergence of those sites is largely because of subsidence of land rather than sea level rise, because it's relatively recent.
Among its most revered ceremonies was the annual Mysteries of Osiris, celebrating the resurrection of Osiris.
But over here we have the god Osiris from Egypt, remembered by the ancient Egyptians as a bringer of the gifts of civilization, not only in Egypt, but in many other lands as well.
The artifacts and inscriptions recovered from beneath the waters tell tales of this grand city. Located about 6.5 kilometers off the coast, submerged under 30 to 45 feet of water, the ruins of Heracleon have yielded an astonishing array of artifacts. Giant statues towering over 5 meters high, beautifully carved and remarkably preserved in the silty seabed, depict Egyptian gods and goddesses alongside pharaohs and Greek rulers, a testament to the cultural melting pot that was Heracleon.
They came to Egypt and established religion by building primeval mounds up and down the Nile Valley.
Alongside these, gold coins and bronze and stone weights unearthed from the site offer glimpses into the trade networks and economic systems that underpinned the city's prosperity. Adding to the intrigue, archaeologists found dozens of small limestone sarcophagi, likely used for mummified animals brought as offerings, and the remains of over 64 ancient shipwrecks. These discoveries weave a narrative of a city where commerce and devotion to the gods were deeply entwined, a place of profound spiritual significance. Drawing parallels between Heracleon and the ancient city of Pompeii in Italy presents an interesting perspective on how natural disasters can both destroy and preserve. While Pompeii was buried in volcanic ash, Heracleon succumbed to rising waters and earthquakes. Yet both cities lay forgotten for centuries, their rediscoveries providing snapshots of ancient life. Pompeii offers a view of Roman life captured in ash, whereas Heracleon's story is told through artifacts preserved under the sea, offering unique insights into ancient Egyptian civilization. The ongoing exploration of Heracleon challenges our understanding of ancient history, shedding light on the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. The city's artifacts and structures, now emerging from the depths, serve as a potent reminder of the fleeting nature of human achievements and the intricate tapestry of human history. Now moving on to another discovery. The submerged ruins of Cleopatra's palace offer a fascinating window into the past. This palace, once a bustling centre of political and cultural activity, was home to Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, known for her intelligence, political acumen, and captivating presence. The discovery of its ruins has thrilled historians and archaeologists, providing unprecedented insights into Cleopatra's era, a time marked by immense political power, cultural achievements, and architectural splendour. The underwater excavations at this site have been nothing short of a treasure trove, unearthing a wealth of artifacts that tell the story of life in ancient Alexandria. Among the haul are magnificent statues that might have once graced the palace and its surroundings, depicting Egyptian gods, Ptolemaic rulers, and possibly Cleopatra herself. These finds offer clues to the artistic and religious milieu of the period. The submerged structures, thought to include the palace's living quarters and ceremonial areas, and possibly even the fabled Pharos lighthouse, give us a glimpse into the architectural and urban planning styles of the time. Moreover, everyday items such as pottery, glassware, coins, and personal ornaments have been found, painting a vivid picture of both the domestic life within the palace and the bustling economic life of Alexandria. Cleopatra's Alexandria was a cosmopolitan beacon of trade, culture, and learning, hosting the Great Library and attracting scholars from across the ancient world. Cleopatra's reign represented the peak of Alexandria's development as a hub of Hellenistic culture, merging Egyptian traditions with those of Greece and Rome. The underwater discovery of the palace highlights Alexandria's significance in the ancient Mediterranean world. Drawing parallels with the sunken Roman city of Baiae in the Bay of Naples, both Cleopatra's palace and Baiae were epitomes of luxury and political clout of their times, reflecting the architectural tastes and wealth of their civilizations. While Baiae reveals much about Roman elite leisure and architectural innovation, the underwater ruins of Cleopatra's palace open a portal to the end of the Egyptian pharaoh's era, and the attempts by the Ptolemaic dynasty to synthesize Egyptian and Hellenistic cultures. The exploration of Cleopatra's palace continues to enrich our understanding of ancient Alexandria's pivotal role in the Mediterranean. It also offers a deeper look into the life and times of one of history's most enigmatic figures, Cleopatra VII, and the lavish lifestyle she led. The ruins serve as a poignant reminder of Alexandria's former glory and the fleeting nature of human achievements, standing as a testament to the transformative power of nature over history. Founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BC, the port of Alexandria quickly ascended to become one of the ancient world's most crucial trade hubs, buzzing with the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. Its prime location on the Mediterranean coast of Egypt established it as a pivotal connector of trade routes from Europe, Asia, and Africa, transforming it into a melting pot of global significance. The strategic and economic importance of the port was unparalleled, primarily serving as the vital conduit for Egypt's grain shipments to Rome, which was essential for the empire's stability. Among the marvels that made Alexandria famous was the Pharos lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Positioned on the island of Pharos, this engineering masterpiece not only guided ships safely into the harbour with its formidable light, but also symbolised the city's affluence and ingenuity. Although not directly linked to the port, the Great Library of Alexandria was another testament to the city's intellectual and cultural richness, drawing scholars and thinkers from across the globe. The royal quarters and palaces of Alexandria, including the Museion, home to the famed library, reflected the city's role as a beacon of Hellenistic culture and power. Meanwhile, underwater archaeology in the port area has unveiled a trove of artifacts, from ancient shipwrecks to everyday items, shedding light on the maritime practices of the time and the diversity of goods that flowed through Alexandria. The port was a linchpin in the ancient economy, bustling with the trade of grain, papyrus, glass, and precious metals, among other commodities. Its docks and warehouses were a hive of activity, indicative of a well-organized network that made Alexandria a cultural and economic bridge between various civilizations. The discovery of diverse ship remains and goods in Alexandria highlights its wider reach in the ancient trade world. The legacy of the port of Alexandria is monumental, influencing maritime trade, architecture, and culture well beyond its heyday. Ongoing archaeological work in the port area continues to enrich our understanding of the interactions, economies, and daily life of ancient civilizations. Its history serves as a powerful reminder of humanity's interconnectedness through time.